Welcome to the House of Legends podcast, where great women become exceptional. I am your host, Graciela, founder and CEO of the House of Legends by Graciela, a mindset coach and mother of three beautiful kids. My mission and passion is to provide you with the tools that will allow you to unlock and bring out the best version of yourself, which is the key to all change. Some of those tools are mindset, identity work, and emotional mastery. Not only that, but I will also bring you powerful conversations with legends like you, showcasing their journey, life work, and allowing us to learn from their experiences and insights. So don't miss an episode. Tune in each week to the House of Legends podcast and let's unlock the power of your own legend. Let's dive in today's episode. Welcome back to the House of Legends, ladies. I'm really thrilled to present to you this week the creator of the Happy, Healthy, and Hot, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, if you can introduce yourself, let us know who you are and what got you here.
And I am a 57-year-old, and I lead with my age because I'm proud of my age. I'm a 57-year-old double certified health and weight loss coach. I'm actually working on a third certification. I'm an author and a creator.
Yeah.
And I certainly, women, I think, come into my world for the health and weight loss information. And the ones that end up joining in, whether it's through simply reading my books or working with me one-on-one, it becomes so much more because they become inspired by their own potential.
Yeah.
And they find out that, yeah, it feels great to feel good in your body, and that can lead to so much more. So I've seen women enter new amazing relationships, or their existing relationships become so much better. They become more confident. I've seen amazing job promotions, more money, all of these things, but it's because that's what they attracted as they started to feel better. But it started with feeling good in their bodies.
Yeah, and I love this way that you put it on. It's not only the healthy part. When we release weight, we feel more confident. And when we feel more confident as a woman, we show up different. We're not just remain in a relationship or in a job that we don't like just because. I think that area is when we feel great, when we feel great on our own skin, permeate every single area of our life. And one of the things, like I was mentioned, and saying this for the second time, I think you are more than a coach. It doesn't matter the certification. It does matter, right? Because the knowledge
Right, but
to get better. But I think the movement that you're making is just something that, wow. I mean, for me, was when I saw you, I was like, for you, it's not just like, okay, let's do this diet, this workout. For you, you are really embody that woman this is a lifestyle. And living 24/7, and you can do it too. And that was impressive for me, because sometimes we go online and we see the do this for 30 days or 20 days. Okay,
yeah.
it could work, or it could be a boost for somebody else, but you promote this healthy lifestyle. I was seeing your coffee magic. I was trying to get, I was really, I was like, the other day I went to Whole Foods and I was like, what she said?
Oh yeah, my smart, sexy coffee. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I call it magic. It's like, because
Magics. Yeah, people are always like, what's that sexy coffee? And I call it smart, sexy coffee, but I like magic. It's, I think we can take these things. I think something I know that's something that I'm good at is taking these complex, people get so overwhelmed and they say, I don't know where to start. I'm able to simplify these things. And then it really is about a lifestyle. And the name of my brand, Happy, Healthy, and Hot, which I truly channeled 9 or 10 years ago. But it's a cute name, and that's all it was to me at first. But I realized it really is these 3 pillars: the mindset, the nutrition, and the fitness. So happy is the mindset. It's not just about being happy all the time, but it is about putting a positive spin on these things.
Yeah.
And healthy, yes, it's the nutrition, of course. And then the hot it's the workouts, but it's the whole vibe. It's just owning who you are. To me, it's kind of like owning your sexy, but it doesn't need to be that. It's like whatever you are, really owning that and leading with it. And then the whole age thing has gotten to be, I'm getting younger and I feel younger. I'm changing. I see old footage of mine, old pictures of mine. I have changed. And because as I've become more and more confident with who I am and less, I say this is 57 no filters because I don't filter anything.
Yeah.
I don't use filters in my pictures, my videos, my Zoom. I used to a little bit smooth things out. I'm like, no, this is me. This is who I am. And it's not perfect, but I'm really proud of who I am. And I want you to see the real me.
Yeah, and I can tell that. And when I think you were sharing that in a few like posts and reels that there's no filters, like, and I do respect people that don't use it or use it, like, but the way that you put it or the concept that you put out there is like, I don't use filters because I can choose to put them on, but I don't right now. I just feel good, like. And I think when we own who we are, when we are so rooted, when we understand what moves us, what doesn't, what is in alignment with ourselves, things change and you attract the right people. You attract the people that are ready for you. And this is one of the things that I would love to mention as well, because we are online. We are, like, I will say, this is our business worldwide. Like, and for many people, and including myself, I used to trigger a lot of people, and there were like, even they took the time to comment those things. I would love to know, how do you approach that without getting entangled with the comments, or because sometimes happen, like not all the time, but all the time there's people
Negative.
that have nothing to do.
Oh,
Right?
I get a lot of it. So, and I also want to really quickly address the no filters thing. No judgment on anybody using filters. They're not good or bad. I just chose to stop using them because I realized that, I remember one time somebody saying, "Oh, your eye makeup looks so perfect." And I realized, they were like, "What do you use?" And I was like, I realized it was the filter smoothing. It's really not, like, there's some, so that was one of the things. It was just like, this is me. I'm not perfect. So how do I deal with the negativity in the comments? It's been a process, but I started to really take off. So I've been doing this for over 8 years now. And it took me 7.5 years. My main platform is Instagram. It took me 7.5 years to organically grow a platform of 17,000. I don't even like to say followers, but an audience of 17,000. And then I'm now at over 60. That was in November. And I'm now at over 60. Wow. So I had a real social media glow up. And I think what happened, well, I know what happened. I didn't even care about it wasn't about the numbers, but I decided that I was ready for people to truly see me. Yeah. And I dealt with this is a whole other story. Like, I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but just to say that I dealt with some criticism from somebody personal, somebody in my life, where I dealt with it and I alchemized it and I turned it into a new story of, they can't take their eyes off of me. Oh, and I turned that into an affirmation. Good. And I said it every day. I said it in the shower. It felt so good to me. This was back in September. Yeah. And suddenly they couldn't take their eyes off of me. So I started having things go viral on Facebook, which included some criticism. But I was like, they can't take their eyes off me. Amazing. It included people really attacking me. And I was like, they can't take their eyes off of me. So I started to alchemize even I started to learn to sometimes just not look. Yeah. Also to consider the source, but then to not ever defend or justify myself to that person. Oh, that. Even because what's the point? I don't need to explain anything. But sometimes I do use those comments. I'll block the negative people and people that are attacking me because they just don't deserve to see me. Yeah. But I will sometimes take those comments and turn them into new content.
Oh God,
as
that's genius.
examples. And I literally had somebody tell me, post the other day on Facebook, on my Facebook post, this guy said, you have a something about you're too old, grandma, and you have a droopy butt. So I saw that yesterday morning. I happened to see it
Okay.
and I screenshot it. I blocked him and I turned it into a reels on Instagram with pictures of my not droopy butt.
It absolutely is not. I
It's
didn't
it's
see you.
not.
I didn't see
It's
you.
I will say it's pretty spectacular, and it wasn't always. I've definitely built a better booty over the last few years. So I just said something like nice James, and I actually turned that comment. I didn't even care what James had to say.
It's
Even if
so,
it triggered me from like it didn't, but some of the comments will get under your skin
yeah.
when it is something that maybe you still like that I still feel self-conscious about, or maybe that I'm not 100% comfortable with. It'll get under my skin a little bit, but I'm not going to defend or justify myself or even dignify that person's response with a comment back to them.
I love that approach, and I think this is really amazing. And all the listeners are going to have the pleasure to enjoy this interview. They can just take this. This is not even a tip. This is a life changer. Like you can turn things around, everything in your favor. And one of the things that you mentioned, and I use it as well, like when something used to trigger me, like a comment or like a whatever, it was like, no, no. I mean, what is if it's triggering me is because inside me, what is the thing that I don't feel confident or because it's not
Yes,
about that person. And when
right.
I start to get curious about myself and I started just to accepting me, and that doesn't mean that meaning that I was just like doing nothing, but accepting me and getting better in certain areas was when first of all less and less people that indolently who were coming to me. And like you said, I right now I'm no longer interacting, I'm no longer defending. And if I do, I just say, well, that is true for you. Awesome. That's it. I mean,
Yeah.
don't even care. And when we live in that way, Elizabeth, I think people can feel that we are so grounded. And I mentioned for the second time here as well, the right people actually get even like more magnetized to us because we accepting ourselves fully.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, what I've seen is the more real I show up online, the more I show up as myself,
Yeah.
um, the more the right people are attracted to me, even with the things that I post. Sometimes the ones that I say, oh, should I even post this? This is so imperfect. And those are the things that
Yeah.
actually ones that draw people to me the most or that get the most. Again, it's not always about the most views, but some of the most popular things that I've posted have really brought people to my community have been things that I almost didn't post because I didn't think they were good enough.
Mm.
So, but they were, it's that whole idea of just
Just
show up as yourself.
yeah, and I think authenticity is really key, and it's now like like a word online, like be authentic. And actually, when we get curious and when we go deep, it's inevitable. Like we show up and
Yes.
we feel even more free. Like you said, there's sometimes that we hesitate to put in something out there because whatever thought we have on the back of our mind. But when we do it people are responding even like and you said like they're responding to that, okay, cool, I'm just gonna show up. And it becomes easier being you, really. It's
Yes.
not like I have to think this about it or I have to have the perfect background or whatever. Or I do have kids, my kids have to have right now at school, right? But they have to
Yeah.
be really loud and it's a lot of things, it's a lot of
Yes.
energy, right? But when we said, you know what, and excuse my language, fuck it, I'm just gonna go
Yep.
and I'm gonna be me.
Yep.
And being me is enough for the right people.
At 100%. Yes, absolutely. I also love you've been using the word curious.
Yeah.
And I really like that because it is getting curious about ourselves. And that's where we let go of the judgment. What you said about the when you feel a little triggered, it gives us a chance instead of saying, oh, it's about this person triggered me. Isn't this interesting? What can I learn about myself from
Mm,
this?
yeah.
Where do I need, and what can maybe I just need to change the way I'm processing these things. But it's just this whole idea of getting curious and looking at things. It's not good or bad. There's no judgment, just like the filters. It's not good or bad to use them. I made a choice not to because I wanted to show what 57 really looks like and that you can have some fine lines around your eyes and still, feel sexy and energetic and all of the things.
Yeah. And like I said, when we started this conversation, you are creating a new paradigm, a new movement. I didn't even call it a brand. You are creating a new movement. It's a fucking
Yeah.
movement. You have to own it. It's like,
I 1000%.
this
Yes.
is,
The interesting thing is that, so there are some other much more known names than me that are apparently doing some of the same things that I didn't know. So people will say to me, oh, have you seen what this person's doing? And they're wondering, what did they inspire you? And for example, Kathy Jacobs, who is a year or two older than I am, she's a model. She's been in Sports Illustrated several times. So she's amazing. And I do know her now. We're friends online. We've chatted, but I didn't know who she was. So it's like I wasn't inspired by what somebody else was doing.
mm,
I was just saying what I wanted to say
that is
and saying
brilliant.
it a little louder for the people in the back of the room. And now I'm finding out and now it is inspiring to know that there's other women with a similar message, but I'm inspired by my own potential and I want other women to feel the same way. They don't
Mm,
need to want what I have. I want them to be inspired by
by them.
their
So,
potential, but like to realize that they're capable they can create the life that they want at any age.
I really love that you mentioned that because it's so easy to see what other people are doing in the same industry in order, let's say, fitness mindset and just checking, right? Because okay, we
Yeah.
want to see what are they doing, what are the offers, whatever. But when we focus on ourselves, actually, it's like way easier. We kill competition because we know that every single one of us, we are attracting the people that we are meant to serve and vice versa. And there's no more point of like, I'm behind, I'm ahead. We eliminate that.
Yeah.
And from that place, Elizabeth, we feel great. I mean, I
Yeah.
did I at one point back in 2021, I have to confess that I was kind of like, what are they doing? And this and that. And we started the same and until one moment I said, you know what? This is sounds even cheesy, but she's not me. I don't know her background. I don't know her
Right.
story. We can have a similar message, but who cares?
It's
I have to
it
do me.
doesn't matter. I can give you an example of how I'm using that right, like literally this moment.
Yeah.
As we're recording this, I don't know when this will be aired, but I'm in the running, I'm in the Maxim Cover Girl competition.
Yeah.
So I'm the other women in this competition, from what I have been told, are mostly in their 20s and 30s. And I'm currently in the top 10%. And today I'll be moving to the quarterfinals. Then it'll be like the top 6% of the competition. We'll get mixed back up into new groups. And I don't look at this. I mean, yes, it's a competition because one woman will end up on the cover.
Yeah.
But I have not looked at the competition.
Yeah.
I don't know who else is in this because that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I don't care what they're doing. In the beginning, I was thinking, oh, well, somebody could do this and they could win, or they could have much larger audience, or this or that. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. I feel so good about the way I'm doing this, and I'm doing this for so much more than me being on the cover of a magazine. It's about this message that I'm
Yeah.
putting out there, that it's time to tell a new story about aging. And so it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing because I'm doing it the way I want to do it. I'm not looking at them. I'm
Mm,
sending them love. Like we're all learning and growing from this.
yeah.
So, but I'm not thinking, how could I beat her? Because it's just about me showing up as me.
Yeah, I love that mindset. And I would love to ask you, Elizabeth, all this time, and you mentioned in the last few years you've been building your community, also your business, but since day one, I will say, you had this passion for fitness, or how all this started?
Oh, well,
I would
I've
love,
always, okay, I've always been interested in health,
yeah,
nutrition from a very young age. Part of it was the way I grew up, which was, I'm super grateful. I wasn't really passionately into fitness. And I would say back years ago, it was so much more, it was mostly for aesthetics. I wanted to be thin. I wanted to look good.
yeah,
Um, and I left, this is a whole other story. I left an unhealthy relationship, zero guilt, regret. So, and we're actually on 8 years later, where this is somebody that for a long time I couldn't speak to. I literally had blocked on everything. We now communicate well and healthful, really in a healthy way, because as co-parenting our adult children. But when it became more, so I created this new reality for myself as I left, and I decided to create this business. It kind of started while I was still in the relationship. But then my message became so much more, because I just started to realize it's when you feel good, when you take care of your body and feed your mind, it can just lead to so much more. Now it's also about longevity, about energy, about like the working out and the nutrition is about so much more than looking good. The looking good is a beautiful side effect, and I love the way I look, and I'm happy to
yes.
flaunt my, I'll wear a bikini in the snow on a horse like you.
Yeah, I
Well,
saw that for a
yeah,
shoot.
the horse
Beautiful.
that was magical. That literally landed in my lap. That was Saturday and was the most amazing experience. So I'll do all of these things. I'm so confident in the way I look, but it's about also being stronger, like creating a new reality for the way we age and the way we live our lives. And so being strong and fit and healthy is going to make for a much better, 50s, 60s, and 70s. And 80s going, so now it's just become this even bigger message.
I love one thing that you mentioned, and thank you for sharing about that. Sometimes, and I also left that relationship that was not working, and like you said, no regrets, no nothing, no. But when I left that as well, I was not like fully, like you said, having this beautiful communication. But after that, after a few years, I was like, well, the cool, we're co-parenting and things.
Yes.
But you said I create this new reality, and I think that was the key. Like not only leaving that relationship, because it could be so easy just to grab another relationship, get into the same pattern, and I did that for myself. We starting to creating something really amazing for ourselves, and this is
Yeah.
another big message that actually I love about you, because you said I create this, I created. I do
Yeah.
have the power. It doesn't matter where I was a couple of years ago. I do have the power to create not only my body, to create this business, to create my life the way that I want it. And so many times as a woman, we think that we do require something external or someone to come and rescue us or something. But the way that you put it is so powerful. And I just wanted to highlight that, because we
Thank
are
you.
creating reality, really.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's exciting and scary at the same time, because I think we're so used to making excuses for why we are where we are, or, justifying. And what if we just said, this is what I want, and I'm going to take steps to create it? Like, what do I want, instead of what's the path that I'm supposed to go down, that I should go down? What do I want my life to look like? And what I want, what you want, like, we want our own beautiful life that we're creating. It doesn't have to be the same as anybody else.
Yeah, yes, yes. And I think that is so key to have someone. And when I don't know about you, or when I look for a coach or a mentor, I I'm looking for someone that of course know her craft. And you're immediately, when we go to your page, and of course I'm gonna put the details on the video and also in the
Thank
podcast,
you.
but immediately I can tell that she don't even have, I don't even want to know exactly all the details. Yours, I already sold. You know what I mean? Because
Thank you.
you embody that. But one of the things that is coming back here in the conversation, the mindset. You have the mindset. It's not just about here's the routine, here's the workouts, do this, do that. It's about the mindset. And marrying those things is just like essential. It's really, really key. And not many
One,
therapists, I'm telling you, provide that piece.
yeah, well, and that's really, I realize that that is the secret sauce because people want some structured meal plan. Like, tell me exactly what to do. And I'm like, I'm not, that's not going to work. Like, you're going to go because I will give you guidelines. When I'm working with a woman one-on-one, it's like we navigate their life. Like, for me to just say, here's what you need to eat. Here, okay, how are we handling this when life gets in the way, when your job gets really hectic, when the parent dies and you're dealing with family stress? Like I've
Yeah.
seen people in real life situations, and if they had some cookie cutter meal plan, they're going to be off of it. But if they have a template for how to take care of themselves, they're going to be able to work through these ebbs and flows of life. And you're never going to be, yeah, life might get in the way and things may be a little more challenging, but you're going to be able to stay the course because
Mm,
it's not so rigid and structured. And because, again, you're inspired by who you're becoming.
yeah.
So it needs to be more than about just a number on the scale or what, a size pants you want to wear. It's like, who are you becoming? What do you want to do with your life? How is your life going to change? And then how can we start creating that change right now? Like, so how can you start feeling better while you're learning to eat better, while you're doing the workouts, while you're losing the weight? Instead of saying, well, when I lose the weight, well,
Uh,
then I'm going to start dressing cute. What if we start dressing cute now? Because that's going to make you feel better. And you're going to smile at yourself when you look in the mirror. It's like all these little things that you can pull in to give yourself a boost. And then I'm, really big on some type of a positive morning ritual routine just to get your day off to a good start.
yeah, yeah, that is so important. And I think I commented to you when we were just chatting on DMs that I used to compete, and for me, when I finished the competition and all that, for a competition is different, like you have to
Right.
be different. But when I was
Yes.
coming back to just being I will say a weight of maintaining a healthy weight for me was kind of really hard because I was just accustomed to I have to eat at certain hours and my system was like that. And I have to together with my coach, of course, it took me almost 2 years because getting back my hormones, learning to eat, learning to know being codependent of like I need to follow certain strategy and then I'm gonna wait on Saturdays or Sundays to have my cheat meal or you name it,
Yeah.
right? So it
Right.
was oh God. But with you, I can definitely tell that it's not about that. It's not about just giving a cookie cutter thing.
Yeah.
It's about, hey, you can come with me. What are your goals? What are your intentions? Let's move things around that are gonna fit for your lifestyle. Like you said, when things can come, when it could come unexpectedly, or even vacation, it could come something really amazing. You go to
Right.
vacation, it's like, oh, I cannot eat that because it's not in my meal plan. So yeah, how we can modify that. And I think the women that are drawing to you are coming from that because you're teaching them your is a lifestyle that they can
Yes.
shift and shift things around, and that is key because once we learn that it's things change. We're no
Oh,
longer
it's
then with the anxious feeling or like it has
oh
to
yeah.
be chicken or it has to be you name it. It's just like, okay, I'm mindful, I'm gonna do this, and the next day I can modify things. So you become your own mentor, and I
Yeah.
really love that about you.
Yes, in fact, just a quick example. I often do just a one single call with women. Like if they just want to, and then if they want follow up, great, but like it's not some big package that they need to purchase. There was a woman that reached out to me and we scheduled her initial call. And then she said, I'm about to go on a long weekend with my husband. And I was thinking about pushing the call back till after I get back, but no, we're celebrating our anniversary. Let's go ahead. Anyway, we had this one session together. She was amazing, so willing to learn. She listened to a lot of my lives. So she went away with her husband on this anniversary weekend, had the best time, but was able to implement what we
Mm.
talked about and fully enjoy herself. I checked in with her 2 weeks later just to say, hey, what's going on? She had lost some weight. She
God.
was like, went away on this fabulous weekend. She's like, I've actually lost 5 pounds. I feel amazing. And this is so easy
Mm.
because all she needed was just a few little,
Tweaks,
like,
shift.
right. And she's off and running. And it was so, but again, she was somebody that was receptive, that was ready for this. But I loved her attitude of, hey, I want to talk to you before I go on this trip. I'm not going to say, because let me let me learn to go on a trip and enjoy myself and eat delicious food and feel really amazing. So yeah, you just learn, it becomes a lifestyle. I always say I'm always ready. Like I'll go do a photo shoot today, tomorrow. Like I'm always, am I always my very best? We're women. We have hormones. Some days I'm postmenopause, but like some days are better than others, but I'm always ready.
You know what? You remember me right now, and thank you for sharing that example of your client because that is really amazing. Not having to wait for install desire because we think that or we anticipate how the weekend is gonna go because we're gonna eat more or whatever. But that
Yeah.
was amazing. Now that you're saying that you're always ready, you remember me. Reminds me to a coach. Actually, she's my mentor, and she said, "I'm Oprah ready." Like, Oprah ready? I was like, yes. If Oprah comes to my house and asks me for an interview, I'm ready. I know. And so
I
Oprah
love,
ready? You're Oprah.
yes, yes. And I really feel that I am. I mean, I just feel like when you're, and again, it gets back to that authenticity.
Yeah.
When you are walking the talk, when you're really being your true self, you are ready. I could be interviewed by, I have stories to tell that are real stories. You're right. I'm Oprah ready.
Yeah, yeah, that is the line right here. Oprah ready.
I
Well,
love that.
yeah. And I think that also comes because, like you said, you're living this every single day. It's not like a just for the internet or for because this
Right.
is my brand. It's actually who you are, and your brand is an extension of you. That's it. It's simple.
Yes.
It's just
Yeah.
so simple. Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. And that's the thing. We really are our brands. Like we're the magnet, we're the lead magnet. We are, if you really live as, if you're really putting your real self out there, what you're saying about attracting the right people is so true.
Yes. And sometimes if we get one of the things that I when I was making some transitions in my business, I was attracting two kind of people and like really amazing, like hell yes clients and other people that were not fully aligned. And I got curious about that. And there were coming from my old way of thinking. And I was just, oh, right here, I do have, I can make a choice, I can decide, and things become simple. But that, like you said, requires self-awareness. It requires also to really being deeply connected to your authenticity and to where you're going, right?
Yes.
I would love for you, Elizabeth, before we wrap up our amazing interview. I call it like it was more than an interview. I'm telling you, if you can share with us where we can find you. Um, I know you're pretty active also on Facebook, but where we can find you, what are the ways that we can work together? And after that, I'm gonna ask you a question that I always ask to all my guests.
Oh, okay. So really I am active on Facebook, but the very best place to find me would be Instagram.
Yeah,
Happy, healthy,
I
not
love it. Yeah.
Elizabeth, because that's where I've been going live every day for several months now. I post live workouts. So that is where you will find the most of my content.
Yeah.
And from Instagram, you can find links to my webpage. I have several books. I have 2 books. I have the Happy, Healthy, Not Journal, which is available on Amazon. So that's a 90-day journal. It's for health, weight loss, and mindset. It really is happy, healthy, and hot. Like so
Fabulous.
that a lot of and I created that because I was looking for something that would work for my clients. I use it myself every single day. I've been using it for 2.5 years. So I'm on maybe my 12th one now, but I just keep going
Yeah.
through it. I created the journal that I wanted. I published a cookbook, the Happy Healthy Not Cookbook. I'm actually working on a second, and women have have lost weight, have dropped pant sizes just buying my cookbook because and using it because it's not just recipes, but there's tips that they start implementing. So I really recommend anybody that wants to work with me for the health stuff to even start there. I'll always say start with my cookbook and use the journal, because then if you want to work with me one-on-one, you're already
Yeah,
kind of you're ready to go. And then I don't talk about this much, but I created a course called Elevate with Elizabeth, which is more of the mindset, where I share these steps that I've used over and over as I've elevated pretty much every area of my life, from my body to my business to my relationships, even my environment. I use this process. So that I don't talk about much, but that's out there as well.
It's amazing because, like I said, for many of us, we can have the business strategy. I call it diet strategy, whatever. But when we have the mindset, it's like this perfect marriage is solidifying the thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Either way, I'm gonna put the details, and this is gonna be also on YouTube. I'm gonna put the details here.
Oh, wonderful. Yes.
And also on the podcast. And here the question, Elizabeth, what is your superpower? By this point, I already know, but what is your superpower?
I have several, but if I had to pick one, I would say it is to help women be inspired by their own potential.
I love it. I really love it, because I think, and especially in the last few months, the industry has changed, and we look to hire someone or to be led by a coach, mentor, guide that not only she or he has walked the path, but he activate what is inside us.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that you put it here is like, I want you to activate what is inside you. You already have everything. It's a small, maybe in a small shift, but you don't need to do me. You need to do you. And
because so many people say, oh, you inspire me so much, or how do you stay motivated? And I'm like, I'm glad you find me inspiring, but I want you to inspire yourself. Like, I want you to be inspired by your own potential, because that's what gets me out of bed every day. That's what has me show up and stay consistent and do the things that I'm doing, is because I am so lit up by the life that I'm creating, by the woman that I'm becoming. Like, I'm not there. I'm thrilled with where I am, and I'm excited for where I'm going. It's that idea of appreciating where you are and desiring more at the same time.
Yeah, I call it, I call it one foot on desire and the other one in gratitude. Like,
absolutely. That's exactly what it is. When you are so grateful for what you have, instead of complaining, people are beating themselves up, complaining about their body. Like, be grateful you could get out and go for a walk. Be grateful you have access to healthy, nutritious food. Like, appreciate that, and let's make it even better.
So amazing. Oh my gosh, Elizabeth, you are like the legend. Like, I'm telling you, you are just making this new movement, and this movement, I know, is going to reach people all around the world. I mean, you already did this, but even more, because it's really fresh and new. And you are, like I said, you are the brand. I mean, when I see you, you're getting younger and younger. Before we close up, I saw one of your reels. I think you posted when you were, like you said, 20s or something like that. And I mean, yeah, you're looking hotter, younger, even more.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, and I'm a woman, but you look is like, wow, how's she do it? It's like, you look amazing.
Thank you. Well, this has been amazing. I just feel like we could talk all day, but I love that you keep these short and sweet so people can really listen and take the information and run with it.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. And thank you all of you. We'll see you in the next. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. Your presence is greatly appreciated, and it truly means a lot to me. If you could support us by leaving a 5-star review, it will help us to connect with more extraordinary and influential women like you. With that being said, thanks once again. and let's look forward to an amazing and legendary week ahead.